This is arguably the most important car premiere of the year, when VW unveils a new Golf. It's a global event. This is now the 7th generation of the legendary Golf, and the latest edition again aspires to perfection when it comes to weight, emissions, ride comfort, and safety. The Golf 7 is the first Volkswagen to be based on the modular transversal toolkit called MBQ. It simplifies production and also helps to keep prices down. The transversal matrix platform, explains development chief Ulrich Hackenberg, enabled VW to make a variety of different models with one architecture. Architecture in this case also means the principles fitting into one factory, and therefore a very high degree of flexibility, depending on demand for vehicles. The Golf 7 is the first Golf that is actually lighter than its predecessor. It weighs 100 kilos less than the Golf 6, and it trimmed down without the use of expensive materials like aluminum, magnesium, and carbon fiber. It offers more safety features and comfort, but still only weighs about as much as the 4th generation Golf from 1997. VW found technologies that are more suitable for the cost of a Golf, explains the model's maker. VW can't afford pricey materials with a Golf, but still has to minimize the weight. The solution comprises ultra-high-strength steel elements and the new production processes. The cutting-edge technology involves the production of elements made of super-strong steel. The metal is baked to 980 degrees Celsius, then inserted into the press and cooled down to 180 degrees Celsius in less than 6 seconds. The resulting components are 6 times stronger than conventional versions. The material is thinner and therefore lighter. The Mark 7 also features tailored metal parts with differing thicknesses, so material is only present where it's really needed. The production setup is accurate to 1/10 of a millimeter. All in all, VW made a weight saving of some 23 kilos in the body structure. The ultra-strong metal elements VW uses require a very precise welding technique, explains the development chief. On the other hand, the components are very precise, which means a double benefit for VW: weight reduction and higher stiffness, from both the materials and the production engineering as well as the special welding process. The new Golf 7 also has an improved fuel economy, with the greenest versions officially consuming almost 1/4 less fuel. The best-selling European car in history will also be available with a full spectrum of alternative powertrains, from natural gas to hybrid to electric. The top performer is again the Blue Motion Edition, just 85 grams of CO2 per kilometer and fuel consumption of 3.2 liters of diesel for 100 kilometers. No question, the Golf Mark 7 is again at the cutting edge in its field, both inside and outside. Volkswagen VW Martin Winterkorn was visibly proud. The old rattles have been consigned to the past. Family-friendly cars with high seating and large trunk capacity. That's what mini MPVs are known for. With the new BMAX, Ford takes a different approach. One novelty, there's no pillar between the doors. Even so, the BMAX still got a top crash test rating. The BMAX is powered by an EcoBoost engine that's already familiar to Focus drivers. Our car tester Matas Kurat says the EcoBoost delivers on its promises. It's a 3-cylinder engine with just over 1 liter displacement, but delivers 120 horsepower and 200 Newton-meters of torque. Even at low engine speed range, there's plenty of power to go around. The compact MPV takes just over 11 seconds to make the sprint from 0 to 100. Top speed is 189 kilometers an hour. In Germany, the fully equipped titanium version sells for 18,450 euros. The BMAX is based on the same platform as the Ford Fiesta, but with an extra 12 centimeters height, it offers some extra leg and headroom. In the front, the trapezoid-shaped radiator grille and protruding headlights catch the eye. The window line features a kick-up behind the rear doors for added flair. The rear view camera over the license plate activates when the car is shifted into reverse.
Praktisch beim Ford BMAX das Türkonzept.
Mata says the door design is also very practical. The front doors open, as in with any car, but there's a sliding door to the rear. That's been done before, but the BMAX doesn't have the expected pillar. That provides easy access to the rear seats. And installing a child seat and buckling up a child is much easier too, without a pillar to get in the way. Tipping the front seat forward gives an added measure of legroom in the rear. What about safety, though? Daniel Schwerin from Ford says safety doesn't suffer in this door design. He explains that the doors are constructed so that in a side impact collision, the door frames lock together to prevent any deformation into the interior space. Plus, there are additional reinforcing beams in the doors to give further protection to the car's occupants. Since there's no B-pillar, the seat belts have been integrated into the structure of the seats themselves, but they buckle up just as in any other car. Like many cars these days, the BMAX comes equipped with a start-stop button. The dashboard and roof lining are stylish and well made. The split folding rear seats offer a total load space of nearly 1,400 liters. If you need even more room to transport a bulky load, Mata says, the front passenger seat can be tipped down to offer a level loading surface from stem to stern.
Von ganz hinten bis ganz vorne entsteht.
The bottom line, the BMAX is a good option for families with 1 or 2 children. It's quite a bit roomier than the Ford Fiesta, and the door design makes it easier to attend to children in the back. The biggest drawback is there's no GPS system, not even as an option. So either you install one of your own, or you go back to the time-tested and traditional map. Opel has launched a new Astra sedan. The grille is modeled on the current Astra OPC, with a sculpted lower intake that packs a sporty punch. It also features a prominent chrome bar with wing light turned-up tips. Put together, the front facelift gives the sedan a stylish and powerful look. The base price in Germany starts at 18,000 euros. BMW's intelligent four-wheel X-Drive system is now available for the first time in the 1 Series cars. The electronically controlled power distribution between the front and rear wheels ensures precise handling when taking curves at high speeds. The X-Drive is available in both the 120D and the sporty M135i versions. This car is the stuff of dreams. In this case, a dream come true for Hans Kleisel. He first fell in love with the 300 SL as a student, and later turned that passion into a profession. He restores vintage models. Today, he's out on a test drive with one of his beloved SLs. It has the acceleration of a modern car, but the wildness of an old model, says Hans. It's a composite of aesthetic appeal and wicked engineering. Hans has participated in numerous vintage rallies with the gullwing 300 SL, including a winning performance at the resurrected Carrera Panamericana Classic. He cannot praise the 3-liter engine enough. They officially have 215 horsepower, explains Hans, and in conjunction with a weight of 1,350 kilos, that's a lot of power. You really can't get up to the official top speed from back then of 250 kilometers per hour on the Autobahn. And there's practically nothing out there that will overtake you. We're in Poling, outside Munich. Hans Kleisel's SL workshop is housed in a former monastery. He has customers from around the globe. Some come to buy, others to have their prized possessions restored or repaired. There's a reason that journalists voted the Gullwing 300 SL the car of the century, says Hans. It was light years ahead of its time. Bear in mind, this was in devastated post-war Germany. What the guys from Mercedes created was really sensational. The technology was incredibly advanced, the tubular frame and direct injection borrowed from aircraft engineering. The car could actually do 250 kilometers per hour. That was back in 1954. Its speed came from being developed from a racing car. Then there are the gullwing doors. As well as being a design element, they were born out of the necessity for a high entry point. Underneath is the tubular frame, which had to come up this high to keep the weight down. From playboys to racing drivers, accountants to housewives, nobody could resist the 300 SL. It got its U.S. premiere in 1954. The pioneering gullwing doors and timeless design have made it a modern classic. This model is based on the hugely successful racing version of the 300 SL, which dominated the track in the early 1950s. It's called the 300 SL because of the 3-liter engine, explains Hans. And SL stands for Sport Lightweight. The intake manifold is curved because the engine is positioned at an angle so that it fits under the hood. Hidden away down there is the fuel injection, the heart of the vehicle. For decades, this was the only car to have direct injection like this. The sound of the engine is always a real thrill. Hans just loves starting up the car and hearing its sound. It's unique, unmistakable. Plus the dashboard and the gullwing doors and big steering wheel. As well as the technical achievement, this is also about beauty. It has a slightly modified dashboard, explains Hans, having belonged to the biggest playboy of the 1950s, Porfirio Rubirosa. To impress the girls, he had the speedometer upgraded to 360 kilometers per hour, and instead of the original clock, he had an English-made Jaeger unit installed. Like most dream cars, the 300 SL was a very limited edition. A total of 1,400 were made, of which 1,200 are believed to have survived. The SL's interior is fashioned around the driver, like in a racing car. The dash matches the timeless elegance of the body. Otherwise, there isn't too much luxury in the cockpit. The SL was, after all, primarily made for performance. It has 60-year-old technology, but remains one of the fastest cars on the Autobahn. The inline-6 engine powers the SL to 100 kilometers per hour in 10 seconds. Hans could not contemplate swapping it for a modern model. For him, modern cars are like playing a computer game. With an old model, you're still really at the helm. You become one with the four wheels. That's what he loves. You don't have to be a Fangio or a Caracciola to get this baby really shifting. They're not that difficult to drive, says Hans, but when you push them, that's where you have to have respect for those racing drivers back then. The double wishbone swing axle makes it prone to swaying out around bends. If you take curves at the limit, you always have to counter steer. You have to work like this with a steering wheel. Of course, you can just opt to drive slower and enjoy a pleasant cruise. The 300 SL will be around on the road for many years to come. Another of its highly valued features is its extraordinary dependability.